Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. Today we are discussing Nooks Cranny and the rumours of an upgrade in the future. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So as you know, Nooks Cranny is the shop run by either Tom Nook or Timmy and Tommy pretty much across all previous Animal Crossing games. In fact, Nooks Cranny is typically the very first shop available in any town when you first start the game. Of course, as you develop the town and spend more money with Nook, the shop upgrades as you progress. With each upgrade, shops get larger, stock more items, and until now have always sported a different name each time playing on the word Nook or the initials from Timmy and Tommy. For example, as recent as New Leaf, it started out as Nooklin Junction before upgrading to TNT Mart, then Super TNT, then TIY, until it was fully upgraded to TNT Emporium, which included multiple characters selling a wide variety of items across multiple floors. Now this trend has been consistent through all previous Animal Crossing games, where every Nook store features around 4 upgrades totaling 5 different stores, each more impressive than the previous. Now based on this, we're going to do something a little different today and discuss the Nooks Cranny upgrades currently available in New Horizons and talk a bit about the rumours and why players think more Nooks Cranny upgrades will be available in the future. As you know, when you first start playing New Horizons, there isn't actually a Nooks Cranny store to start with, although Timmy can be found inside the Resident Services tent and will buy and sell things there. He continues to do this until a number of milestones have been reached in the game, including paying off the initial 5,000 miles ticket debt, upgrading your tent to a house, as well as donating 5 unique critters to Tom Nook to prompt Blathers to set up shop in a tent. At which point Timmy will then ask you to collect a bunch of different crafting materials so they can build an independent Nooks Cranny store, and of course ask the players to position the plot accordingly. This is kind of the first upgrade, going from tent to an actual Nooks Cranny building, and the first for any Animal Crossing game. Of course, this adorable little store can be upgraded further as you progress through the game. Once the amount of bells for buying and selling items to Timmy and Tommy inside Nooks Cranny exceeds 200,000 bells, and 30 days have passed since it was initially built, alongside some other factors such as having Mabel visit your town, Nooks Cranny upgrades for a second time, revealing a more impressive, larger store, which strangely is still called Nooks Cranny. Anyway, so after a couple of months of playing New Horizons, it's pretty common to have upgraded a couple of times and seen 2 different Nooks Cranny stores. And by now you've probably realised 2 different Nooks Cranny stores doesn't really follow the trend of 4 or 5 stores from previous games, so this is our first clue that there's definitely more upgrades in the pipeline. Anyway, moving on, let's take a quick look at how the upgrading of buildings work in New Horizons, starting with the museum as an example. Now to begin with, we have Blathers 10, which of course is the very first plot for the museum and determines where the museum will be constructed and how big the plot will be. As we progress through the game, the museum sees its first upgrade from tent to an actual building, but notice how the plot size is the same, but it occupies a little more space. The tent had ropes and furniture items around it, but now the museum has probably half a tile worth of space free either side. Then of course, thanks to the art gallery that was added a couple of months back, the museum saw a second upgrade to this, a much larger museum building, again occupying the same plot size, but this time the walls of the building are flush with the plot, leaving no space. So the museum goes from tent to building to a larger building, whilst always occupying the same plot size, but making use of every pixel of plot space, if that makes sense. Now this pattern of upgrading isn't unique to the museum and is the case for all upgradable buildings in New Horizons, even our house. As you can see, the player's house has little bushes to disguise the extra space, but eventually the house gets upgraded to make use of the full area of the plot. Now this is where the speculation and rumours to further Nooks Cranny upgrades come in. If we go back to our lovely adorable Nooks Cranny, we can see the plot is marked by a tiny fence either side of the store, and even has a little bucket in between to use up some of the space. As it upgrades to the next stage to a much nicer, larger store, the fence is gone, but it's still occupying the same plot size, and as you may have noticed, for some reason, the bucket survived the transition. Anyway, you'll probably also notice, despite the building being bigger, Nooks Cranny still isn't taking up the entire plot space available, just like the middle museum upgrade did, where the walls weren't flush with the edge of the plot yet. So again, what is currently the largest Nooks Cranny store clearly has room to grow, and the next stage will almost certainly make use of this extra space and continue upgrading until the entire plot is used and the walls of the store are flush to the edges of the plot. Personally, I think at some point later down the line we could see the likes of Leaf move into the store to make it bigger, and hopefully even special characters like Gracie Grace will be added, who could also become a permanent resident of Nooks Cranny. Of course, this is just a theory and we're speculating based off the history of Nooks stores and how buildings currently upgrade in New Horizons, but I definitely think the upgrade to Nooks Cranny will be added sometime in the future. Also, without spoiling anything or giving too much away, data miners have apparently seen hints to support further upgrades, but we'll have to wait and see if that's true. Also, as a quick side note, if we use the model upgrade and how much space each one takes up as an example, it seems the Able sisters probably won't see an upgrade simply because the building already appears to take up the entire plot, but again, who really knows? Anyway, what do you think about this theory? Can you see Nintendo adding new building upgrades? Do you even want a larger Nooks Cranny? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, for now, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you're an Animal Crossing fan, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any New Horizons news. Until then, I'd like to give a special thank you to this channel's Patreon supporters, as well as this channel's members. You guys absolutely rock and truly help me upload as regularly as I do. I couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to head over to our Discord server too, and of course, if you made it to the end of the video, please comment Nooks just to let me know you did. That would be super awesome, and please be sure to include what other features or buildings you'd like to see added from previous Animal Crossing games. I'd love to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Please be sure to leave a like if you did. Thanks for watching, I hope you have an amazing day, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.